Yo, we back at it again. Welcome back to the Chatter's Box. It's your boy True 102.
And your boy Shelvin.
Cara.
Love gift.
Yeah.
Love gift in the building.
Chatter's Box. And we back there. We had a good week last week. We was on about talking about relationships. This week we're gonna be talking about what are you bringing. And yeah. This week, we're talking about what are you bringing.
Yeah, man, what are you bringing, right? It's really going to kind of bounce off of last week, because last week we was talking about toxic and non-toxic relationships. So I think what you're bringing is going to play a major part in that situation, whether we know it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, this week we're going to be talking about what are you bringing? Like, when you come, what comes with you? Mm. And I'm not just talking about financially.
Yeah.
I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You know, what comes with you? The total package, right? So when you get into engage in a new relationship, and we're not just talking about one kind of relationship of a man and a woman, right? We're talking about work relationships. We're talking about church relationships. We're talking about business relationships. We're talking about family relationships, friend relationships. There's so many relationships, and you know it all correlates to what are you bringing? Like what are you bringing to the family? What do you bring? And I believe, you know, we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. You know, I think it's levels to what you're bringing, depending on where you're taking it, because you can't bring, you know, family traditions always into marriage situations.
That's true.
That's true.
Like you can't, sometimes you got to change that up. Like she or he not going to be happy, you know. We not doing that in her. I was I wasn't raised like so you know. So it's certain stuff that you can bring certain places that will actually play key parts and be key components to building good relationships. Mm-hmm. And I believe that what we're bringing sometimes doesn't actually reflect who we are.
I beg to differ with that, though.
Well, why you say that?
I beg to differ because what you bringing is a part of you.
Yeah,
so I feel like if you bring in your
time.
pain and your reactions or your actions reflect the pain you've been through, that's a part of you. And it's up to you to change how you carry your baggage to become the person that you want to be or want to look like, as far as how you want people to perceive you.
Right, so that's what I meant. That's what I meant. You know, you're acting out of character.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not acting yourself. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times what we bring to people is not really who we are.
Okay.
Like if we were in the right place, like if we was in our right mind, like we wouldn't be this individual, right? But sometimes we enter into places where, you know, we represent somebody that's not ourselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes we bring the representative instead of ourselves. Yeah.
And that's-
Definitely. Like we put on that, how do I put this? We put on that thing that's most attractive, whether it be friends, relationship, that we put our upfront stuff front, if that makes sense. Your best parts of you up front.
Right.
And we're really good at shadowing or hiding or watering down the bad stuff. So you sometimes, and I think that has a lot to do with, I feel like sometimes it's not intentional. It's what you just naturally do. It's a defense mechanism. It's a protection. It's like, okay, well, this is who you get. This is what you're going to get at this level that you're at. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we never get off that level. We stay there.
Wow.
You know, and using that analogy too with the representative, I think of receptionist. You know, my thing is, it's like, you know, the receptionist can only take so much because you're only paying her that, you know, amount. So it's kind of like, or him, that amount. So, so like when something is too overbearing, that's out of pocket, it's kind of like you could talk to the manager. And that's when we see the real characteristic of the building.
And that's a good
so,
analogy.
So the thing is this, even when we talk about our subconscious as a receptionist.
What's up, Chris,
Yeah.
man? What's up, Leatress, man? What's up, man? How y'all doing, man? We back on this
T-Rock.
thing again, man. Yeah, man, like and share, man. Please like and share, man. We want to get this thing out, man, because we want to be building blocks in the community, man. We just want to be that positive platform that gives a voice to the voiceless, like I say every week. That's what our intention is, because sometimes we have things that we want to say, just don't know how to say it. And we want to be that language barrier. We want to be that language bridge to help us get from this place to that place, and not just get there, but get there in a healthy way. All right? So what are we bringing? What are you bringing? Hey, Fatima, hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? What we're talking about tonight is, what are you bringing? What are you bringing? Listen, I didn't announce it last week, but I'm going to tell you like this. The first 5 people that put in what they're bringing, I'll be cash apping you. You know, just put in, what are you bringing? We just want to know what you bringing and how you feel that that's going to benefit the relationship with others, and not just with your significant other, but everywhere that you go. Because I'm going to tell you why I keep saying that. I keep saying that because I truly believe that how you react in every other place is based off your foundation.
Yeah.
It's based off your foundation.
That's true.
And I believe that a lot of times our foundation isn't God. Our foundation is the things that we were experiencing through life, and, you know, the situations that made us stronger and made us tougher. You know, I think those end up being our foundation, and sometimes end up being our characteristics. And like Shakara just said, a defense mechanism. A defense mechanism is something that you use when you feel offended in a situation.
Yeah.
And so what we do when we're young is we create these defense mechanisms. Each person has different ones. Like, I would see people with their defense mechanism. Some people's defense mechanism is automatically fight.
Yeah.
What's up? I don't do all that lip boxing. I don't buy no wolf cookies. Y'all know how I get. You know how say, let's get it. Some people defense mechanism is to shut down.
But why does the elbow always come first? You know, I don't know if they do that. They try to be like, yo, what's up?
That's that protection block right there. That's that protection. That's that blocker. That's that blocker that people be throwing up right there. Nah, but man, what you said defense mechanism. Yeah. So some people are, just like you say, throw up the elbow. But some people just shut down.
It goes to that. It's that protecting self, though, because you want to you trying to protect others from what you don't want them to see. You know, like she said, you know, and I was trying to explain earlier, like when like a receptionist, you pay her let's say, or him $9.25, but you got like manager stuff coming that way of people complaining and whatever. Eventually, the receptionist is going to check out and be like, no, you don't pay me enough to do this. And I feel like sometimes we can only pay attention to that subconscious for but so long till the real us come out and they see the manager.
Right.
So it's kind of like I think therapy and counseling needs to come into play so that you can understand those things.
Very important. Very important.
I use me as an example. Like that used to be my mechanism fight, you know. But then again, they got me shot. You know what I'm saying? And then now I'm put into a position to where when stuff like that happen, I usually tend to like just be like, I'd rather walk away or be the person to, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you got it, because I know how I can. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so you're more afraid of you than you are it. Your defense mechanism is kind of rough. We all get that somewhere along the line, I believe. For me, I believe my defense mechanism was to fight too. I was a fighter. I think that's how I felt I could kind of overpower a situation. Like something that was getting the better of me, I couldn't. I didn't want to. Like, I could really lip box with a person. It's just I didn't like doing that. You know, that wasn't my thing. And so that was my defense mechanism. Now it has changed because of the word of God. You know, he'll make your enemies your friends.
But it sounds like both of you guys were kind of like the ones that will win a fight. See, I didn't get into fights like that. Like, I fought like maybe 3 times in my life.
You lose?
Nah, man, I just like breaking stuff at that time. It was like I was punching trees, I was throwing stuff everywhere. So you want to piss me off? Yeah, I'm gonna go do something, you know, for myself. I didn't like to hurt people, so it's kind of like, you know, I wanted to find something to like, you know, do. But you know, my wife would even tell you, like, when I get stressed out or I feel like something's coming my way too hard, my mother raised me to like channel that into something positive. So the energy I would put into like breaking things or whatever it is, I put it into like things that's gonna build me, like my business,
Right.
my spirituality, my prayer life. Like if I'm looking for a job or I'm working, I put all I can into it, because at the end of my damaged situation, at least something good is gonna grow out of it.
I think a lot of people do that too. A defense mechanism is usually used when you are the prey and not the predator.
Exactly.
That's what Chris just said. That's very powerful.
That's true.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Defense mechanisms do ultimately pop up. And I think what we have to realize is a lot of times we bring those same defense mechanisms into relationships.
And it's selfish.
It is.
It's hella selfish, because it's like you withhold the love that you could have given from somebody because you're afraid of what you might do, because you're scared they might do something to make you do what you don't want to do to them.
Self-sabotage.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you killing opportunities.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real though.
Killing
like,
opportunities.
It's so real. You will self-sabotage a relationship so fast just off the fears of what might happen.
Yeah.
Like, not anything guaranteed, just off the fears of what, just because of previous experiences. Because you like, I don't want to feel that way again. I feel a little bad if I broke it off, but I feel even worse if something like that happened again. You know what I'm saying? So you'll go ahead and take the lesser of the pain, just to, you know, keep a little bit of your sanity.
But you said something that was like you said you was that you Christian. You know how God changed your life and everything. I feel like an issue that people are having is what they're bringing more than who are they bringing. Because if you bring in items like your hurt, your pain, your suffering, your struggle, then you're going to be applying that to everything you have in your life.
Right.
But if you bring in God, you have no choice but to reflect God. So it's kind of like, what God do you serve? Because that will determine what you bring.
Say, we were just talking about that last night.
Yeah.
You know, and we were saying, like, what do you bring into the church? And he said, because what you do reflects the kingdom.
Exactly.
And you know what I said to him? I said, that depends on which kingdom you serve.
Right. Because, you know, I was, you know, I think I was talking to my wife about this either last night or this morning. I was like, and I was talking to my homeboy this morning about it. I was like, you got too many people who pray and want to be seen praying, want to be seen preaching, seen talking about, you know, the gospel and whatnot. But it's like, yo, why you got to make me see it when you could just show me the fruits of your labor?
Yeah.
Like, if you praying, if you having devotion, then you should reflect it. So if somebody comes at you sideways, why don't you come at them like how God will come, like, yo, let me help you and feed you.
Yeah,
Rather than cut you out and then pray later saying, I'm a spiritual person. You look stupid. You know what I'm saying?
That all comes with exercising. Which, because you got a natural side and a spiritual side. Which one are you exercising more? Which one are you feeding more? Like that's what that comes in.
If you're feeding that flesh, then you're gonna be like you're gonna throw hands every time.
A fleshy way. But if you're feeding the spiritual side more than you.
But the thing is, on top of that, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
But what are you feeding that spiritual? Like, for example, like you have like people who are fit, right? You ever ask a person you seen got a 6-pack or 8-pack? Some pecs and do you go to the gym? That's a stupid question, because it's kind of like, of course you do something. You know, you may not go to the gym, but you lift something in your backyard. Can you ask a Christian that? Can you see that on them to the point where it's kind of like, yo, do you go to a church?
Right.
Do you worship God? Like, I feel like if you got to ask a question, it's obviously not there.
Right. And you know, sometimes that's the truth. You know, sometimes people are just getting their bearings in the ministry, so they still a little rough around the edges.
I mean, that's true too. It's true too.
So we got to make sure we implement that, because I want to make sure that I encourage those who are starting to keep running, because the start of your run is sometimes the hardest
part,
because you got to catch your pace, and you don't know how fast you need to run for this race, because a lot of us start in it as a sprint. when it's a marathon.
Man, shoot, you better start jogging, big fella, because
Yeah.
I tried running. I was like, hold up.
It's gonna be a lot of people that treat you like you're less than who you are.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that, man, because it's kind of like you was less than at a point.
Yeah, but it's gonna be some people that treat you like that.
Yeah.
In this race, it's gonna be some people that treat you like. What do you do? How are you gonna react?
That's true, though.
I think we're all used to saying what's the right way, what's the wrong way to handle something, what's this belief, what's that belief. And so when we say, what do we bring to the table? So aside from your beliefs, your characteristics, your personality, your emotions, your, for lack of better words, your mess, I think that what most people don't realize is what we translate. When I walked in this room, I translated something. When you walked in this room, you translated something. You translated something. You translated something. And it is an energy exchange. So, like what you were saying just a moment ago, where you spoke about who are you feeding more of, your spiritual side or your human side, I guess. I think that is a thin line, and the reason being is, you are first spirit before you are anything. You are that, and you are energy. And I think that because we are conductors of energy, you tend to, if I come into a room and my energy is stronger than yours, you are going to
Gravitate.
fall into what my energy is.
Right.
And I feel like that's the same thing with relationships, and not just like relationships, but friendships, family ships, whatever. There is always somebody that vibrates us at a certain level, and they translate a certain level of energy. You ever go into a household and nobody knows how to talk to each other, nobody knows how to communicate, nobody knows how to get along, and it's usually where the head of the house is not a communicator? Or you ever go somewhere where you go to a workplace, everything is disorganized, and the manager is not organized?
Yeah.
So sometimes I think you just got to find where that ball is dropping from, and identify it within yourself. Because you're responsible for you. You got to manage you.
Right.
And then after you've managed you, then you can kind of negate, what belongs to you, what don't belong to you, what's your subconscious, what's not your subconscious.
Right.
And I think we lose that. And I think that's because everybody wants to sway towards, well, I think this thing is right. And then it contradicts yourself, because while you're putting the front foot forward of, well, this is right, you still haven't fixed it. So you're still going to make that same mistake. Right. You're still going to carry that certain energy. We don't correct ourselves. We tend to, okay, this is right, it feels good, feels right, but we're not consistent enough.
Right.
So.
But what feels good, though, and that not necessarily mean it's right.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
So
That's
like
exactly
a question
what I'm
for
saying.
you too is like, what is, because I feel like right and wrong is subjective to the source that you serve or believe in. So like for you, my question would be like, what is an example of what's right and wrong as far as how to correct yourself? Because everybody grew up different. We have different foundations, different backgrounds, and right and wrong is always different in every household. So like for you, what does that look like?
Okay, well, just depending on what we're speaking about. So I'm going to give an example of just a basic example. I'm going to do a workplace.
Okay.
Do something workplace or family related. So one thing about my personality, I'm very, I can be very bossy. I'm very nurturing at the same time, but
so like
I can be very, very bossy. She's very bossy. And
the energy.
sometimes I can overstep my boundaries quickly. And I may not realize it right then, and then you may come by and be like, you said this or you did this, and that was like a level of correction for me, and I had to learn this because I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter in every sense of the word. I will fight you in every sense. So I had to learn how to step back and look at myself. That was my biggest change for me. I had to learn how to step back and reflect. And how I do that, I meditate. I self-reflect. I write a lot. I'm constantly reflecting myself. I'm like, okay, I get in the mirror. If I got to get in the mirror and be like, okay, this is a game plan. This is what you need to be doing. This is what you're doing. It's basically putting my stuff in my face.
Right.
We don't do that enough. I didn't do that enough before.
Right.
I had to practice and learn how to be like, yeah, because before I'd be like, no, I'm right, and that's it. I'm right, and that is it. I was not, you couldn't tell me nothing else, and I had to learn how to just self-reflect, look at myself, and address what my real issues were instead of just panning them over into something else. So that bossiness is assertiveness, but it became more, bossiness is really a sense of control. And a sense of control comes from trauma. So there was a lot of things that happened in my life that I had no control over. And you make promises to yourself and you're like, well, I'm never going to let these things happen. I'm never going to let that happen or whatever. And you learn how to be controlling instead of managing what your trauma is.
That's powerful.
Is that the defense mechanism you was talking about too?
Yeah. That's powerful. It's another way to say it because people grasp things in different ways, and so I think somebody's going to grasp that in a good way because we do react really really bad off traumatic situations, and like we have to get counseling for these things, right? I believe that as long as God is the foundation of what we're bringing, because what I've learned is, I don't know how many of y'all on here are believers, but, what I've learned in my walk with God, that whatever you bring to God, he tends to multiply. He doesn't just add to it. He multiplies it. Like, I'm talking about the 10 times, 20 times, 30-fold, 40-fold, 50-fold. He multiplies everything that we bring to him. So if we are bringing everything to God, get this, he'll multiply the good stuff and he'll help you with the bad.
I was just going to say, how would you explain it to that person when you say that what you bring to God?
He'll multiply.
What about the bad?
Yeah, he'll help you with the bad. You see, because he'll make sure that you'll be in good standings with him. See, when you're having a relationship with God, you're dwelling in a secret place. And when you dwell in that secret place, you dwell under the shadow of the Almighty. And when you're under the shadow of the Almighty, you're close enough to God to get whatever you need from him, but you're also far away from whatever's trying to attack you that it can't touch you. Yeah. So you're in a place where you can actually grasp yourself. Because a lot of times we get so caught up in life that we forget to grasp who we are. Especially after you've been hurt and you're running from that person.
Yeah.
And you're not running from the suspect, you're running from the victim.
The thing is this. I when it comes to self-reflection and when it comes to self-evaluation, the flaw or the issue I see with it is the fact that you're looking at yourself and you're basing it off of something. So when it comes psychologically to anything, when you're trying to parallel something, you're basing your information from something to become something. So if you're looking at yourself to correct yourself for yourself, it's kind of like, are you using your standard? Or, that's why I asked the question, because some people have different standards. My mom and my dad told me this is right and wrong. This religion told me what is right and wrong.
Right.
Social media told me what is right and wrong. Because you got some girls and some guys that they're trying to mimic what they see on TV. They're like, oh, man, I ain't got my money up. How do you know you ain't got your money up? Because they got their money up. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're trying to parallel something you've seen before. And so for me, my foundation is God. Completely, strictly Jesus. As far as what he set the example of how you should live your life. Right. So if I see myself out of pocket, it's because it's out of the pocket of what he was in.
Right.
So it's not like I saw Joe Blow do something, I saw so-and-so do something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta correct. Yeah, so it's like Jesus did X, Y, and Z. Man, I didn't do that when somebody spat in my face and yelled at me. I smacked them in their face. You know what I'm saying? Or I popped them back.
Man,
it's
try Jesus.
It's kind of like,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't try me.
It's kind of like,
because I throw hands.
For real.
Try Jesus. Not me.
Because I throw hands. Do you hear me? I'm being.
That's real though. It's real though.
No,
but
I'm not influencing that. That's not.
But I mean,
but
the thing is, that's people today.
That is
when
people today.
Especially as an African American, when you face certain traumas in your life, you have no choice but to fight back. Especially if you had no father in your life, you've been abused, and then you got the past traumas of slavery and all that stuff that went on, and all your mindset is to survive.
Right.
So it's kind of like
Chris Johnson just said, this is basically from insecurities, because you can only wear the representative for so long before before the real you or the victimized you, the hurt you, and the you that did not rid of all your extra baggage comes out. So you can only wear the representative for so long. How long will you be a hypocrite? Dang, he dropped the H-bomb. Yeah, it's a hypocrite. I try to teach people what a hypocrite is all the time. It's not just tied into church. A hypocrite, when they used to do plays back in the days, a person would come on with a mask on their face. And what they would do is they would play a character outside themselves. They were known as hypocrites. That's what they called them. That's what the position was called, a hypocrite. So you can be a hypocrite in any aspect of your life, not just the church. Yeah. You can be a hypocrite in the household.
But you know what you could do with that? Take the mask off and look at the mask. Yeah. This is what I want my face to look like. This is what I want my actions to be like. I think the issue is, in most cases, I don't mean to take your water. My bad.
I was going to say your face would be very hydrated, man. It'd be very hydrated.
What you trying to say, man? I got an ashy forehead. Nah, but the thing, you really tried my life on that one. What I'm saying is, it's like, I got to a point in my life was like, I'm tired of wanting to be the man I want to be. I want to work towards being the man I want to be.
Right.
A lot of us put on that mask, and it's kind of like, if that mask got me this far with a certain person, why can't I be that person? Because, it's like, take off the mask and be the mask.
Right.
Like when, I don't know if you remember the Jim Carrey movie,
right.
The Mask?
Yeah.
He was on, when it's like drinking for me. When I used to drink and stuff like that, I used to go to the club and try to talk to girls because it was just hard for me to have that confidence to do so. Right. So I would drink, probably hit a little weed, and then go there and be like, yeah, what's going on? Like, what's going on? I'm bad with words. But for some reason, the words came.
Right.
But then it got to a point, it's like, I got to constantly drink and smoke just to be able to get into a girl's head. And, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No offense. This is guy talk. But I said, you know what, man? Why can't I just be that guy? Why can't I be that guy that feels comfortable around women and talk? And I said, you know what? I'm going to drink and smoke and take notes. I took notes. I took actual notes of the things I was doing, the things I was saying. I said, this is the guy I want to become. Mm-hmm. And so I started working on building my confidence. And that helped me to not only find, better women to date, but it helped me to have better relationships.
Right.
I let go of old baggage of insecurities and stuff like that, and I was able to be like, "Hey, my name is Sherwin Carl. Whoop. I want to do this with you."
So when it comes to those, what you were just saying, what are you bringing? Like, what are you bringing to the relationships in your life?
I bring Jesus, man. I try the best I can. I can't say I do it 100%. Because it's still a work in progress. So I would never like look at you straight in your face and be like, yeah, it's all Jesus all day. It's like, I know people try. My life is my goal in life is to make the Bible real again, like make it practical. And so I say, God, make it real for me. Show me how I can live a better life to where I can show my family how to prosper.
Yeah.
I can love my wife in hard times. She can love me in hard times because she saw how I loved her in hard times. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because who you are is a representation of who you serve. Yeah. So if you don't even serve God, people can see that. The Bible says, the dollar says in every currency, it says in God we trust. Mm-hmm. The word for that in the Greek is pesos. Mm-hmm. Spanish is pesos. Mm-hmm. Credit means trust. Mm-hmm. So are you trusting in God, or are you trusting in the form that you can see? Mm. And I decided to trust in the currency I couldn't see, mm-hmm. which was in God. I'm like, yo, I'm going to spend time with you trusting you're going to make me who I need to be.
Right.
And in that process, I saw myself growing and finding better people. I found my wife that way. I can't tell you how many testimonies I've had just from like, yo, stop making everything completely spiritual and make it practical.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I got more to say, but I ain't trying to be the main one talking.
Nah, you good. You good. I dig what you're saying. Now, I don't want to talk over nobody. Nah, you good, fam. I understand exactly what you're saying. So, what I'm asking you, you kind of gave me a synopsis of everything. Like, when I'm asking you this, I'm asking you, like, what are you bringing to each individual relationship? Like, what are you bringing to God? What are you bringing to your...
in detail, like,
well,
I'm trying to understand you.
So... Let me just so to God I bring me, right? I bring mm-hmm. me broken, whatever I got to do to get better. Me.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to come in here and act like I'm better than nobody.
Yeah. That's the wrong way to come in.
Yeah, but that don't mean it's the impossible way. It just means it's the wrong way because you know how it goes. But what I'm saying is I bring me. Yeah. I bring Shelvin from Highland Hills mm-hmm. off the corner, me. Why? Because that's the person who needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
I am not anybody else. I'm that person. I bring that person who was in the dope game, it ran the streets, who did a lot of stuff that was just stupid. That's who I bring to God. And God says to me, come, all of you who are weary and heavy laden. He doesn't discriminate on who I bring unless I'm not bringing who I am.
Exactly. You gotta be completely vulnerable.
My pastor says this all the time. You can't heal what you keep concealed.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. We ain't ready for that. Huh?
No. We see, we have to go there because we're bringing everything into these relationships. So when I come to God, I bring me.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't sugarcoat it. I bring every thought because God knows all my thoughts. Maybe that's why I'm so honest with God. Because I know, like David said, Lord, examine me. Mm-hmm. So that if there's any evil in me,
take it out.
Take it out of me. Yeah. So God examines us. He knows who we are. So we can't be fake with him. So a lot of us, we just got to get to a point where we're bringing us to God. Now, when it comes to my wife, I bring the most God-fearing husband she could get. Why? Because I fear God when it comes to my purpose. Period. Mm-hmm. And so it's different areas that correlates to, right? That goes to areas with my wife, like as far as being graceful, as far as being merciful, because I understand the love of the wife as Christ loved the church. I try to bring responsibility. I try to bring accountability. I try to bring conversation, right? Because communication is everything in a relationship. Matter of fact, we want to thank Sister Pat. What was her last name?
Wallace.
Pat Wallace, man, she was the winner from last week's contest, man. Yeah. I just wanted to give her a shout out real quick. Also, man, look, I hate to just stop in the middle of all this, but it is my mother's birthday today, man. She is the sweet 16 turned around.
Happy birthday.
She's 61, man, and man, I'm just so honored to be her son, man, and I'm glad that she was my mother, man. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for her, man. I really appreciate her. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out real quick. I hope y'all don't mind. But when it comes to my wife, that's who I bring, right? I don't bring perfect husband. It's not who I bring. That's not who I am, right? I'm still going to make mistakes. I'm still going to fall short and all that stuff, but I'm not going to sit there and lie to her about stuff I've fallen short in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to come to her honestly, right? I'm going to, hey, babe, fell short on something. I'm not saying that I don't care. I'm just saying it because I recognize that I did something that I should change, right? And those are the things I bring to my wife. That's what I'm talking about.
That'd be the hardest things, though, man.
Man.
I ain't gonna front, like, to tell a woman that she's right, especially your wife. It's just like, you a man. It's just like, I hate doing this, but I know I got to because God told me to.
Man,
you was right. I was wrong. Let's do it your way because it's going to help us prosper.
Man, do you know what I have learned, man? Do you know what I've learned?
You win.
Man?
You win every time.
And
you win.
Just having a forgiving heart and learning how to ask for forgiveness. You know what I've learned? I've learned that for me, for a Christian, for a follower of Christ, having unforgiveness in you is like getting glass in your foot.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've never seen a person get glass in their foot and not stop, change their position, pull that glass out their foot because they realize if they keep that glass in their foot, it's going to affect their walk.
Yeah.
It's the conviction.
That's how I feel as a Christian in unforgiveness. I feel like if I don't forgive you, you're gonna mess up my walk. You're gonna affect my walk in a negative way. So I need to get this glass out of my foot real quick and continue to keep pressing toward the mark. Because if I hold that unforgiveness, so I learn to be forgiven, right? I learn to be. That's how I feel like a Christian should carry forgiveness. Like, this is not going to affect them as much as it's going to affect me.
Well, the thing I feel like we need to define.
And I kind of veered off.
Yeah, no, but I would say there for just a second, just to define what forgiveness is, because like when you understand forgiveness for what it actually is, it kind of helps you learn how to place it properly. Mm-hmm. Just a quick one is like when you have $50,000 in the bank that you thought you had, and you only had $350, but you spent that $50,000.
Are you talking about that woman who transferred that 1.something million? Who sent her that money?
The PPP loan.
Yeah, the PPP loan.
Yeah.
You spend that money and then like you and then they say, yo, you got a negative balance of XYZ.
Yeah.
And so they like, instead of you paying that loan back, they be like, yo, Matter of fact, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put the money back in there. We're gonna pay it for you,
Right.
and we're not even gonna charge it to you. So like, you don't ever got to worry about this debt. It's on us.
Right.
That's forgiveness from a person to another person.
Right.
And if you got to do it for yourself, do it for yourself. Where it's like, I know you know what you owe me for what you did, but instead of me charging you, I'm just gonna let it go off of grace and mercy,
Right.
and just love you in place of it, which means like I'm gonna sacrifice on top of that. Which is like, it's like them giving you back the money and to be like, yo, we just gonna throw an extra 50 stacks in your pocket just because we like you.
And I mean, all that stuff is cool and dandy, but I guarantee you, somebody listening to you right now
It's hard.
who is like, man, I don't know who this Negro think he-
But if you think of what Jesus did, he was like, I know what you owe for your sins. I pay the price, and on top of that, I'm gonna give you a chance of eternal life.
Right.
That's forgiveness with love on top of it.
And I get that.
But it's hard. I ain't gonna front. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm telling you right now, somebody is shaking their head. They probably gonna send a few.
yo, get that man off the table. Yo.
He's talking about this craziness up
Take
here.
the light off
but,
of him.
But that is true forgiveness, man. But you got to learn to forgive, if not for somebody else, for yourself, man. Because you only hold yourself captive if you don't do that. But also, man, what are you bringing to the friends? Like, what are you bringing? And that for me means community. What are you bringing to the community? Now, a lot of us right now are deemed a menace to society. They called me that when I went to jail. You're deemed a menace to society. I told them the devil is a lie. This society is a menace. I don't know what y'all talking about up in them offices and stuff.
The
but
villain trying to create villains.
Right. And you know, they try to play those games with you to make you think lesser of yourself. And I'm not saying everybody does it. I'm just saying the devil does. I know who the real adversary is, who speaks against our purpose. I know who the accuser is. Yeah. So when people are doing it, I'm not tripping. I don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Yeah. But against principalities. And I know that you are not the author of what you're doing. You're just the actor or the actress.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't want to go too deep in that, but I just want to say, what are you bringing to the table?
That's hitting.
I know it, but you know I can't stay there. We gotta
keep going. I'm just saying. I'm just speaking life on it, man. It's good.
Man, we're gonna talk about that.
Keep going. Do your thing. Forward. Do your thing. I'm just saying, man. You made my wife jump. My baby jump too.
Oh, say that's what the word of God will do.
My wife pregnant, so you know the baby jumping for the word.
Say that's so good, man. I think it was who baby was at that leap when Mary walked in the room?
John the Baptist.
Yeah. The baby leap.
He leaped.
Yeah, man, that's the good word. I ain't gonna stay there too long. But we're talking about what are you bringing? What are you bringing? When you come, what comes with you? Like I said, man, the first 5 people that put in the chat what you bringing. Look, we go send you a cash app. Just send me your cash app. We'll send you a cash app. We ain't tripping about it, man. We just want to get the conversation actually circulating, not just in here on these mics, but at the homes, within your workplaces. We want you to talk about it. What are you bringing? Because a lot of times we bring a lot of the most crazy things into, different areas of our life. Yeah. Like when we get in relationships with other individuals, I was asking you, are you bringing in old seasons? Yeah. Like, are you still mentally somewhere that you're not anymore? Because that affects relationships.
As far as what you mean by that?
Just experiences. Just experience. Most of it is gonna be trauma. Like, I hate it, I do, but a lot of it's gonna be trauma, and that's the realization of the world. Like when you realize that you're gonna face some stuff, because the Bible says many are the afflictions of the righteous. Yeah. So if it's many afflictions of the righteous, how much more are those for the unrighteous? You understand what I'm saying? And so everybody's going to be afflicted in some way, but the problem is not the affliction. The problem is not, that's the conflict. Yeah. That's the conflict. The conflict is the affliction, but the actual problem actually comes when you try to take that conflict into relationships. And I don't know how many of y'all on here that are just done with those kind of relationships. We talked about toxic and non-toxic relationships. Look, I'm done with toxic. I'm done with toxic.
I've been done.
Say I've had my share of toxic. I'm
Yeah.
good.
You know, I was done being toxic.
Man, me too.
Because
Me too.
like, you know, I ain't gonna front, like when people get hurt really bad, especially from like past relationships, even if it's not intimate, like friends like that stab you in your back. You know what I'm saying? Like you can become toxic, and then you because you want to play the victim all the time. Everybody toxic, but the common denominator is you. You know what I'm saying? And so like everybody, you know, who you got in a relationship with did you wrong, but it's kind of like you was in a relationship with everybody. Doesn't that say something? You know what I'm saying? You was involved like that. You need to go seek counseling, get some therapy. I had to do that, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like it helped because, and you have to have a good circle too. That helps. Yeah.
I'm listening because that's kind of like what happened to me. He said you face trauma through all type of stuff.
Yeah.
And you said you got tired of being toxic, right?
Heck yeah, man.
So okay, yeah. And at a point in my life, it came to a point in my life to where I was like, I had to eventually have self accountability. You know what I'm saying? I started owning up to, hey, well, I did do this, so it was my choices and this and this and that. So I went to counseling, and then, like I said, I started actually. We talking about relationships. We go back to relationships. I actually started liking somebody, and then once I started dating them, they had trauma. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now you tell somebody, so they had trauma. At the same time, dating them, God showed me who I was. Like God showed me. I actually dated myself. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I was dating myself. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And the girl had the exact same, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pisces, exact same birthday day after mine. You know what I'm saying? So we act alike, and I dated myself. I learned so much though, and I learned that I still had growth that I needed to produce. I learned where I needed to go, how not to treat a person, because I know how I felt when that happened to me. Like experienced in that, you know what I'm saying?
So you learn to be considerate, compassionate, patient, understanding.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Say, Rosalind on the chat, she said, we have to learn what our issues are. Then we have to confront them. Those issues, we have to confront those issues in order to heal from them.
Right.
Problem is, we're not willing to confront our issues.
You're too scared. You're too scared of what you're gonna see.
Check this out. Fatima said,
Looking at the man in
but
the
it's
mirror.
hard to speak to someone that you don't know. I'm gonna let that sink in.
Yeah.
Look, I had the same. Matter of fact, you want to have a moment of silence? I take it. I take it. But you know, on my journey into Christianity, I didn't believe. I only believed because my parents did. So it was kind of like, why? You know, how do I don't know this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I tell anybody who who's interested, like it's baby steps, man. With anything, just start with the first step. If anybody could just be a Christian, babies will walk as soon as they come out the womb. It's a process. You have to watch people walk. You have to be motivated to walk. And then you're going to be like, you know what, maybe these legs of mine can do something to crawl on the floor and try to grab these, you know, whatever toys. And so for me, I said, you know what, God, if you real, make yourself real and then help me to make you real to other people.
Yeah.
I ain't going to go through the whole testimony, but long story short, it just took one step. One step of like faith. We all take faith into something. It don't matter what it is. No matter what religion you go into, job you go to, relationship you go to, whenever you indulge or entertain anybody's company, you take a step into faith. That they won't do you wrong, you won't do them wrong, and you'll get to know them. So it's like, at least try something. I don't know. I say at least try Jesus at least one time, man, for yourself. And I don't say try it in just a spiritual sense. My thing is like this, man. Like, take Jesus out the book. I feel like we leave him there. And we don't look at what he did. Like, the man was spat on, beaten, kicked, disrespected, put on the cross. And he still was like, yo, God, don't even charge this to him.
Yeah.
Forgive them for they don't even know what they're doing.
Right.
Put it on me.
Right.
Why can't we do that? When we claim to be be Christians. Why can't we, say, God, I know they mad. They don't know what they doing to me because they toxic. They got traumatic stuff happening to them, especially right now.
Right.
Tend not to do that because, like we said, we don't really heal from our trauma. So that means we operate mostly of the time in the flesh and not our spirit. Jesus did it because he walked in the spirit, and he was able. That's how he was able to say, to have the heart of God to say, "I'm gonna do it for." You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
And they got some good stuff going on in this chat, man. Let me
go ahead.
Let me bounce back to this chat real quick, man. So, Chris says mental illness is real. Pat Wallace say, I pray that when people enter into a new relationship that you leave the baggage and the hurt behind. Focus on yourself and get the necessary help you need so that you don't hurt the next person. Healing, this is Rosalind talking. She say healing is an ugly process, but so worth it.
Yeah.
Check this out. I was meditating about this during the week, man, and so God showed me something that was a little bit deeper than just the forefront of emotions, right? It's just the anger or the pain or something. He showed me something that was a little bit deeper because when you study 1 Samuel 16, you'll find that Samuel was leaving from the appointment to Saul. He was leaving from Saul because Saul had been denounced, right, from the kingdom. But he was hurt from the relation because he loved Saul. Like, even with the disobedience, everything, he loved Saul. Saul was his boy. Mm-hmm. He was hurt, right? And so when Saul went to the next relationship, Samuel went to the next relationship, he said, I come in peace. And so it wasn't that he wasn't at peace with what had happened, that was wrong about the situation. See, the problem was even though he was at peace with the situation, he still had the wrong description. Sometimes being at peace with a situation doesn't change your desire for it.
That's true.
Wow.
That's definitely true.
And so we go into these relationships sometimes with the expectations of the last relationship because we're still desiring something from it. And so now you're in a relationship that you're not going to be able to experience that which you're longing for. So now what you bringing in a relationship?
You bringing in the last person.
Yeah.
Well,
bringing the last person.
You're actually bringing in frustration and agitation.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be wanting that last person. And that goes back to, what have you left? Forget what you're bringing, but what have you left? Like, what have you put down that was holding you back? What have you dropped down that was stopping you from getting to where God's taking you? What have you left behind that was hindering you from your growth? What have you left? That will actually determine what you will bring. Because some stuff you should have left a long time ago. Like, some stuff, I don't even get it, but sometimes we get into stuff where we know it's wrong for us. We know it's not doing us no good, but it feels so good at night. Yeah, I know. Say, we talking real live on her.
We grown.
It feels so good at night. And you wake up next to a stranger, knowing that this ain't gonna go nowhere. And you feel bad because your temporary moment of pleasure is gone.
Yeah.
All that stuff, and that comes from just a lot of experiences in life. You actually begin to give up on true relationships, especially where I'm from. It's like, thug people don't love these. I can't say it how it's supposed to be said.
Garden tools.
Right,
That's
and
wrong.
so you learn all these things and you bring all this into a relationship because everybody longs to be with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care who they are. If you don't long to be with somebody, you just hateful. Like, you really are. You're just hateful. You're just not, you're acting out of creation.
Yeah.
Because God didn't create us to be alone.
Yeah.
So you're acting out of creation. So, but that's a whole different story. That's a whole different ministry for a whole nother time. But everybody longs to be with somebody. Mm-hmm. And the problem is we let our desire to be with somebody overwhelm our need to fix ourselves. And so we'll say, look, if they'll take me like I am, then they gotta love me. No, don't do that. That is a setup. That is a setup for a bad situation.
A willful distraction.
That's a setup. That's a setup for a bad situation. Because as soon as you put that in your mind, if they love me how I am, you don't love you how you are.
Yeah.
If you don't love you how you are, why do you expect me to love you how you are? I mean, yeah, I want to be more like Christ, but I don't want to do this for life. This is not something I want to do.
Furthermore, sometimes that's not what you presented to me.
Right.
I wasn't prepared for your luggage.
Right.
That's not what you came with.
What I said last night, say, man, don't pull up in a separate car in your luggage. Don't you pull up in a separate car in your luggage. That means you got so much luggage, you can't even fit it in the car with you. You have to get a car for your luggage. Now, I would say you should just keep on going on down to the psych ward down there because you need some help. Don't stop right here for no relationship and you got all this luggage with you. You know what I'm saying? Like Erykah Badu said. What she said on
Bad lady.
you gonna hurt your back.
Carrying out on bags like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's also the responsibility of the person who is entertaining the other person, to be more insightful of what they're entertaining, because
And accountable.
because it's kind of like you're the one who entertained it. So whether they came in with a Ferrari but they rented it, that's not on them. They tricked you because they knew you was gullible. You know, if she came in looking like a certain way to catch you, and then, you know, she take the wig off, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
It's up to you.
you know, and I'm not saying take off the wig as far as just a wig. It's kind of like, you know, actions and him, you know, pulling away it's like, I feel like we all need to be educated in the sense to know what we're getting ourselves into.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
if you're from New York, like, you don't take every deal. Just because it sounds good, they're like, yo, I got your back. I'm gonna hold you. Hustlers are all through there, Atlanta, everywhere you go, but like Atlanta and Georgia, like they will hustle you to the bone. Like I could walk in the mall right now, like, hey, you got a new pair of sneakers? Let me clean those sneakers. Nah, I'm good, bro. I'll catch you later. You know what I'm saying? Like, but how many of us are willing to like go that far when we see bad advertisement, you know, from somebody who ain't got it, but trying to act like they do got it, like common sense, you ain't got it. But then you get, you know, pregnant by them, you catch an STD and be like, well, they did me wrong, but you should have known better. I mean, or you know what I'm saying, on both ends. I'm not speaking just from one, like a male's perspective. It's from both ends. We all just need to have better insight of who we entertaining, you know, because it's not just their fault.
Right.
But also what you date is a part of what you are. Like you're not dating somebody that you're not.
Exactly.
You're not.
Exactly.
It just came in a different package.
What you put out is what you get in. So Rosalind says we have to develop habits of self-love and knowing our worth and not accepting anything for pleasure or a few minutes of feeling good and feeling worse after you've done it. Chris Johnson said, how about bringing a balance to the relationship? Because sometimes we drop our old baggage and without God pick up new bad baggage. No, we are not hurt anymore, but we are self-centered. We got over the old man or woman, but can't get over ourselves. That's powerful. That's powerful.
And then it's a healthy self. Literally spells heal thyself.
Wow, healthy self literally spells heal thyself. Because we're all broken in some way. Listen, we've talked about the conflict. We've delved a little bit into the resolution, man. I want to know what y'all think, man. I want y'all to just ask some questions or whatever. You know, we're gonna give a little Q&A. I know y'all have some questions, man. I have to disagree with you on that because I live alone, and I'm not a hateful person at all. If someone comes along in my life, then I will welcome them with open arms. Now, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people are alone don't want to be with nobody. That's not what I was saying. I was saying there's people out there that don't want to be with nobody.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about literally people out there that really don't want to be with nobody. And it's not just because of they just came out the womb, you know, antisocial and stuff like that. It's because of their experiences in life has pushed them to a point and put them in a corner where they feel like, look, I ain't trying to delve in that. I've been hurt so bad.
Yeah.
that I can't bounce back off what happened to me last. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that and so they're filled with a hate. I should have explained that a little more. I definitely didn't want you to take it like that, Fatima. But yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm not saying that all people are alone or filled with hate or nothing like that. But so we're getting ready to wrap up. Listen, the whole thing about what are you bringing is, what are you trying to get out of the outcome? Like, what is the end game? Like, what is the motive? What are you trying to accomplish in the situation? And when you think about trying to accomplish something, we have to first learn to accomplish ourselves. There's a term called coming off from under yourself, right? It's a wise old cliche term, coming off from under yourself. What does it mean? It means there is a self on top of you holding a self down. And you're wrestling day and night and day with yourself. And ultimately, when you're under yourself, the bad you has the good you, the you that takes you low has the you that takes you high down. But when you come off and under yourself, flip that over. They call it turning a new leaf. Right? You're actually finna start to reverse your thoughts, reverse your actions, reverse everything that you have come to believe, because you were conditioned out of a situation of survival, molestation. You was conditioned out of a situation of bad relationships, distrust, and now you have to flip that over. And it takes strength. You cannot outfight yourself. It depends on who you feed the most. That's how you get the win. Whatever wolf you feed, there's 2 wolves in each one of us every day and every night. And whichever wolf you feed, that's the wolf that wins. So if you feed the wolf that hates, the wolf that prays, the wolf that kills, the wolf that talks trash, the wolf that is no good, that's the wolf that's going to win. But if you feed the wolf that is merciful, you feed the wolf that is peaceful, you feed the wolf, well, what do you feed the wolf? You feed it the word. You feed it the word of God. You feed it the encouragement of man. There are plenty of things you can do outside of reading the Bible that can give you encouragement. There are motivational sites on Facebook. You can go and listen to those. What are you feeding yourself? Because if you're constantly listening to look, I ain't trying to say no, but if you constantly listening to negative music, stuff that makes you want to go hit something, stuff that makes you want to go jack something, stuff that makes you think about doing some drugs, stuff that makes you, if you're constantly listening to that, then you're going to be off balance when you don't mix it with something that would at least give you a little bit of sense to say, nah, I don't need to do that. You got to have a balance. It can't be just one-sided. You got to feed them both, because you're going to have them both for the rest of your life. But one has to be strong enough to keep the other one down. And depending on which one you feed, that's the one that is going to be the conqueror. What are you bringing? Because if you bring that hurt, if you bring that pain, you're just going to add to it.
What are you willing to let go?
I told a young man the other day, you can kill me, but at the end of the day, you're just killing yourself. Yes, because I am you. I just don't have your features. I just don't have your blood, but I am you, to a sense, because we're all one in the body. Yeah. And when you kill me, you kill yourself. And how much longer do we have to die before we understand that? How much deeper in darkness do we have to go before we comprehend that?
That's a good question.
Yeah. We need so desperately right now to fix ourselves. And I don't care how you fix yourself, just like when you was out there unfixing yourself, you didn't care how you did that. I don't care what nobody say. When you was out there in the world, you did with, matter of fact, you was early off work so you can get early to get dressed to go to the club. You was early. You couldn't wait for 3 o'clock. You had to fight them in the hallway. I'm just trying to help somebody. You was early. You did everything you could to unfix yourself, to break yourself down. How far are you willing to go to fix you? Because you got it in you. Yeah. You got it in you to fix you. Yeah. God didn't birth you and nothing outside of you that the thing about a seed is everything the seed will become is inside the seed. So everything that you will ever become is already in you because you are a seed. Only thing you got to do is get past that breaking point. You got to be planted. And whatever nutrition you're taking, whatever you're putting into that seed, that's what that seed will become. Use the word. Use encouragement. Stop telling them little black kids that they're not nothing. Stop calling our little black children out of their name. I mean, if they over 21, that you pretty much got your mind made up. You what you is. But if you're under 17, I'm just being honest. I'm not finna. Some stuff I just, you know, yeah, you're still impressionable when you're under 17, 16. You still have a chance to believe in yourself. Yeah. Because after 21, it's so hard to get you to believe back into yourself. That was a wise saying by a guy. He said, it's easier to raise a good man than to fix a broke one.
Yeah.
But listen, we on the Chatterbox. It's your boy, Shell.
Yeah. It's your boy, True 102, man.
Cara.
Love Gift.
Love Gift in the building. Love Gift. Before we close out, can you tell them a little bit about yourself, man? Just give them a little bit of something about you, man.
Well, I'm the host for Gospel Snack. I come on every Saturday on YouTube. Gospel Snack / Love Gift, and you can watch the videos. The point of my platform is to make the gospel simple again, to where we can take what's spiritual and make it literal and practical, so that you can live your life more peacefully, and you know, instead of making it complicated. So that's pretty much what it is for, and then it helps encourage people to keep pushing and keep going. Didn't believe in God at a point in time in my life, found a way to get reconnected, and it just changed my life forever. Yeah. So yeah, tune in, check it out, see if you like it. I'm telling you, there's a lot more in store. Episode 3 is coming out this week, so we doing it, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Please support the kid, man. He said Love Gift, man. I love the name, man. Please support him, man. Real good guy, real stand-up guy, man. Like we positive on this thing. I love to endorse. I love to promote. I love to provoke people to go and just look at you, man, and tune in, tap in with you, man. You're a great dude, man. Look, all y'all, appreciate y'all being on here, man, tonight, man. It was a real good thing, man. Sister Rosalind, I'm doing the best I can, man. You know, we just do what we can, and what we can do is let God work through us. Amen. And that's all we need to do is what we need to do in God. Listen, this the Chatterbox, man, where we chat it up. Come chat with us, man. Yeah. See y'all later, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.